I made a lot of dumb mistakes in my 20s. I was living in an expensive city, I was spending entirely too much money while not making nearly enough, and I was careless with credit cards and loans.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over some clips covering some bad financial decisions, what not to do when you're trying to save, and just some general do's and don'ts in the financial world.
Oh my, shut the f up. You are pissing me off. You could get 7.5 dozen eggs. 7.5 dozen eggs. I'm doing like Trump hands right now. That's how pissed you're making me. Fantastic eggs, the most fabulous eggs. You could have had so many eggs, and you could have the meals, the scrambled eggs you could have had in just your example, because eggs is what you care to bring up when I push back on DoorDash.
Because all I want is eggs, right?
Huh?
Because, yeah, all I want is eggs.
It was your f***ing example.
Your statement was, for the amount of money that I spent that day on DoorDash, I could have bought 4 meals instead of
7.5 dozen eggs could stretch further than 4 meals.
That's not good for your cholesterol.
It's a
Are you on blood pressure medicine?
I probably should be after this conversation. Yeah. Okay. Rotisserie chicken. Boom, there's a meal. $5.
Never seen a rotisserie chicken for $5 at HEB.
Okay, then you've just never had eyeballs. I don't know what to tell you.
Seen a
Okay, yes I have. It's right here. Are you kidding me? It's literally right here. What are you talking about?
So not eating out or ordering DoorDash is something I'm sure everyone struggles with from time to time. You know, you've come back from a long day after work and you don't really feel like cooking. I get it, but you know, in this day and age with things like DoorDash costing so much, with so many unnecessary extra charges, you might just have to suck it up. There are options, you know, you don't have to cook every single day. You can meal prep. Oh, but groceries are so expensive. Yeah, but you can lower the cost by just not buying some name brand stuff. You know, you can get something that's literally the same product if you just look past the brand name. So yeah, meal prepping, look into it. It's not just something for people who go to the gym, who work out a lot. It could save you loads of time and, more importantly, money.
Are we really struggling in this economy, or is everything a facade? I just can't help but wonder to notice that everywhere I go, packed to the brim. Restaurants are packed. Cafes with $12 lattes, huge lines. Erewhon with $20-something smoothies, huge lines. Grocery stores packed. The other day, I called a bunch of nail salons just to get a basic-ass pedicure. All packed, all busy. They had no availability to squeeze in a 30-minute basic pedicure. And I'm thinking, I thought we were near a recession. I thought the economy is bad. I thought people were struggling with groceries and bills. Yet everywhere I go, restaurants, bars, cafes, packed to the brim. Malls, packed. Target, go to Walmart, everyone's cart is packed. Everybody's cart is packed. Trader Joe's, Costco, everybody is packed. Everybody is buying things, a multitude of things. And everything is more expensive due to the inflation. But where are people getting this money from then? I thought we were struggling. Am I the only one who's been noticing this?
The answer to this is credit cards and doom spending. I mean, sure, some people can afford to do these things, but lots of people have just adopted the idea of, hey, there's no point in saving anymore, so I'ma just have some fun. And then, boom, more debt. So never let public appearances fool you, because it's just a facade a lot of the time, most of the time. Again, not all the time, as again, some can really afford these things, but most probably can't and are using their credit cards, which is just putting them deeper and deeper into the debt hole. Going back to the idea of doom spending, because of the economy and because of generally how things are in the world right now, most people have adopted this sense of, I'm gonna just spend this money and have a good time because there's nothing worth living for, nothing worth saving for. There's no point bringing kids into this world, so I'm gonna just use my money, use my credit cards, and have a good time while I'm here. Which is a very self-destructive way to go about things, as many people will come to realize, and many of these people even know, but they're at the point where they don't really care too much about it and are just fine sinking deeper and deeper into debt.
I made a lot of dumb mistakes in my 20s. I was living in an expensive city, I was spending entirely too much money while not making nearly enough, and I was careless with credit cards and loans. I dug myself into a hole that was so deep, and the only way out of it was doing something drastic. By that point, I was barely making the minimum payments, and my mental health was so bad. I was on antidepressants and they were barely doing anything. I told no one how bad things were until I'd actually met with a bankruptcy attorney. I would not recommend keeping that to yourself because it's just so isolating. And I promise you that people are a lot more understanding and non-judgmental as you might think. I ended up filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is essentially a court-ordered repayment plan because I was making enough money to be able to afford regular payments. I consolidated all of my credit cards, a couple of personal loans, what was left of my student loans, and what was left of my car payment into one plan. This let me pay off 100% of what I owed without accruing any additional interest. Then, of course, there were attorney fees, court fees, the trustee fee, the person who actually divvies up the payments that I was making to all of the creditors. And then it was determined what kind of a monthly payment I could afford over the next 5 years. My credit score took a dump, but I have been able to rebuild it to a fairly good score at this point using a secured credit card and things like rent payment reporting. 5 years later, I am officially done with payments and I am 100% debt-free for the first time in my adult life. While I would not recommend ever filing for bankruptcy, if you can avoid it, it kind of saved me. I'm just relieved beyond measure to be able to start over at this point, finally. Cheers to a better, more informed, less chaotic financial future.
You know, good on her for getting her stuff together and actually being debt-free. Yeah, this is something that people may disagree with, but it's something that is a viable option. You know, if you're single and, you know, cash is tight, you don't need a fancy apartment in an expensive city like New York, for example. Heck, before filing for bankruptcy, which has worked out for this lady in the video, if it's an option, try looking into moving back to your family home with your parents for a while, and it will save you more cash than the worry about where your rent money is going to come from each month, every single month. When it comes to credit card spending, please spend only what you're willing to lose. I can reward that if that doesn't make sense for you guys. Please spend what you're willing to lose 5 times over. By that, I mean, if you can't afford to buy the one thing that you're buying, like say a car, if you can't afford to buy, okay, maybe a car might be too crazy of an example. If you want to buy a PS5, if you can't afford to buy it 3 to 5 times over right away, then you probably can't afford it. Simple as that. That's a good way to go about life and getting in a situation that this lady got into.
Hey, I bought myself a car through my credit card and now I'm struggling to pay it back off and I don't know what to do. Just use the 50-30-20 rule. The 50-20 what rule? The 50-30-20 is a rule which will help you to maintain and budget your finances. The rule simply means you should allocate 50% of your income towards your needs such as rent and bills. The 30% should go towards your wants such as your traveling and your shopping. And the other 20% can either be used to invest, save, or pay off your debt in your scenario.
You know, there's not much wrong with this. This is a very solid way to go about things, but maybe if you're a bit behind on bills and whatnot, you can cut that 30% of wants just a little more and put it into savings and paying off debts. You know, you don't need to be traveling if you realistically shouldn't be spending that money.
Out of all the millionaires we studied, one of the key things they said that caused them to be able to build wealth was working together with their spouse. The data says the number one cause of divorce in North America today, money fights and money problems. Well, guess what? That's people who are not aligned on where their money's going. They're not talking about it. They've not combined things. It's just like you're over there in the corner doing stupid stuff and I'm throwing grenades at you and we get a divorce as a result. So, you know, I don't, you know, some of you have little independence problems or you got other kind of little philosophical issues or something, but you're just wrong. It's just wrong. Okay, it's not morally wrong. It just doesn't work
long term.
Okay, and the data's in.
You know, money is such a sensitive topic for many people, and it is quite odd that you can hear of many couples that don't really discuss their finances with each other, which really isn't viable in the long run. You know, working together, especially if you're a double income household, can do wonders for your life financially as well as mentally, and everything will be clear and discussed rather than one partner just not knowing what's going on and being completely out of the loop.
This couple brings home $10,800 each month. Let's look at their budget. She is a lead generation specialist and works from home. He is a manager for an insurance company. Their combined take-home pay is $10,800. Their fixed expenses include their mortgage, internet, life insurance, car insurance, alarm system, Verizon, a Gab watch for their 2 daughters, YouTube TV subscription, Netflix, iCloud storage, and charity, bringing their fixed expenses to $3,245 each month. This family's debt and savings includes 1 car payment, 2 credit cards, and I even added in a holiday savings sinking fund, bringing their debts and savings to $989 each month. Their variable expenses include electricity, trash and water, gas for their cars, groceries, restaurants, several activities for their children, including dance, piano, and gymnastics. I added in this kids miscellaneous line item to cover any other expenses for their children that pop up throughout the month. They also have a country club membership and dry cleaning. I also added in spending money so that she she and her husband can each have money just for them to spend on what they want. And of course, I added in a buffer as well. Their variable expenses come out to $3,550 each month. Total number 1, 2, and 3 equals $7,784, leaving them with over $3,000 left in their budget. She said that right now they only have about $1,200 in savings, so I would love to see her send the rest of this money to an emergency fund, because right now, if they have an emergency, it will have to go on a credit card.
So the rest of the money has to be going somewhere. Spending only $800 on groceries with kids as well seems a little unrealistic, unless everyone in that house is malnourished. I'd imagine the money that isn't accounted for, that isn't there, is going to things like takeout, Starbucks, and whatnot, and which is, trust me, it adds up over time really fast. So if you want to avoid a situation like this, make it a point to keep track of every single thing you spend on.
I don't understand how I make $34 an hour.
Hey, sorry for the challenges you're going through, and I might even take down this video if it's not seen in the right light. But for me, working in finance as long as I have, I've seen one continual mistake people make with their finances. And they say, I make $60,000 this year, I make $34,000, but do you really make $34 an hour? If you work 10 hours, is $340 deposited in your bank account? No, you say you work for the government, so you might be a part of a union, you have a health plan, you have taxes. What you need to do is take a look at your last paycheck. See how many dollars you got paid, actually deposited in your bank account, and then see how many hours you work, then divide it. And then you know how much you make an hour. And that might help short term, but more long term, making decisions based on the actual pay you're making. One mistake I've seen, people buying cars. I make $60,000, I can afford this car, but that's not really how the math works. Sorry for the challenges you're going through. Hopefully this is temporary. Anyway, enjoy your evening.
This is why it's very important to be realistic about how much money you actually earn. If you earn $5,000, for example, live like you earn 3 or even 2.5 grand. It's not hard to think that that would be tough for some people, but in most cases, living life like this is really just one of the only ways and one of the surefire ways that you can realistically build a good savings with just your monthly salary.
Here are 3 things to up-level your finances in 2024. Number 3 is probably the most important, but the hardest one to do. Number 1 is you're going to stop the Delulu spending, and we're going to start living within our means. It is okay if you don't go on that vacation. It is okay if you don't have the latest handbag. It is okay if you don't buy that latest skincare product. Take a look at how much money you bring home every single month and how much you owe every single month. Good baseline for you to start is 50% towards essentials, 30% towards lifestyle, and 20% towards saving and debt. Number 2 is you're going to pay your future self first. That means investing in your retirement, saving up for an emergency fund, or paying off debt. I know sometimes that you can look at your financial situation and be like, that's not fair. I work so hard. Why can't I see the money? You need to reframe the situation. It's not that you're not seeing the money. You're paying your future self, and your future self will thank you for laying the foundation now. Number 3, and I really believe this is the most important step, is that you need to rewire your brain and stop comparing yourself to other people. If you look around other people and are wondering, how the heck are they affording that lifestyle? I should be able to afford that lifestyle too. Well, 50% of credit card holders are in debt right now, and so that's how they're affording their lifestyle. You need to rewire your brain and to stop normalizing living beyond your means. I promise you, we can all rewire your brain and up-level finances in 2024.
Okay, lifestyle creep. Most people, once they start earning a bit more or get that promotion or that raise, they start spending a bit more, going to fancier restaurants, buying more expensive clothes that you really don't need. You don't need to do these things. It's fine to indulge every now and then, but seriously, once you get accustomed to it, getting off of it is going to be much, much harder.